On the night of June 28th, 2024, something unthinkable happened in New Orleans. 10 men, locked inside a secure correctional facility, simply vanished. No alarms. No frantic radio calls. No guards even noticed, until 7 hours later. That's 10 inmates, gone, in the middle of the night, in one of the most watched facilities in the entire city. Some of them were facing charges as serious as armed robbery, carjacking, and even attempted murder. But here's where it gets worse. During the routine head count at 4 a.m., everything appeared normal. No broken doors. No tampered locks. Deputies moved on, thinking nothing of it. It wasn't until 9:20 a.m. that someone noticed what had gone wrong. A deeper review of surveillance and cell inspections revealed something chilling. 10 inmates were missing. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson addressed the media hours
we have
later. Her voice was
interviewed,
composed,
I
but
think,
behind
all of
the
our
words, there was a
employees,
soul.
and we are
We take full responsibility.
interviewing all of the residents of
We are
that
doing
particular
everything
pod
we
as
can
well.
to bring them back
And
into
then
custody.
we've got a-
This should have never happened.
Gotta wait.
The public? Outraged. Families of inmates still inside. Terrified. And for the city of New Orleans, one question echoed louder than the rest. How do 10 men, some of them dangerous, walk right out of a jail and disappear? And maybe even more chilling, who helped them? This wasn't just an escape. This was a message that even inside a locked cell, with bars and guards and cameras, there's always a way out. In the next few minutes, we'll break down how they pulled it off, and why this case might be far bigger than it looks. You'd think a high-security jail would be the hardest place in the world to vanish from. But what happened inside Orleans Parish Jail? It wasn't a Hollywood prison break. It was something much smaller, quieter, and far more embarrassing for the people in charge. It started with a hole. A plumbing fixture behind the toilet, already loose, was tampered with. And when deputies later investigated the area, they found a small cavity in the wall, big enough for a man to squeeze through. One by one, the inmates wriggled inside the wall like rats. They crawled through a narrow, hidden cavity, a maintenance space that wasn't under camera surveillance, and found themselves inside the skeleton of the jail itself. From there, they moved like ghosts, past the walls, through a panel, and finally, they emerged in the inmate yard, undetected. And that's where it should have ended. But it didn't. These 10 men didn't just break out of their cells. They made it across 2 chain-link fences, unarmed, without anyone seeing them. No motion alarms. No guards posted. And the security cameras? Not a single one captured them in the act. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson called it what it was. There's no way this could happen without help from the inside. Investigators are now looking closely at guard logs, access overrides, and blind spots in the facility. Was this just a lucky break? Or was this planned? And if it was planned, how long had they been working on it? We now know who escaped. In the next section, we'll show you their names, faces, and why they were behind bars in the first place. But first, every subscriber helps us dig deeper, go darker, and bring the most unbelievable true stories to light. If you're into mysteries, escapes, and the untold, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. These weren't petty criminals. These were individuals facing serious charges: murder, armed robbery, assault. Their escape wasn't just a breach of security, it was a direct threat to public safety. Let's dive into who these men are. Number 1. Derek Groves, 35. Charged with multiple counts of second-degree murder. Considered extremely dangerous and still at large. Number 2. Antoine Massey, 28. Facing charges of armed robbery and aggravated assault. Known for his violent tendencies. Number 3. Linton Van Buren, 42. Convicted of burglary and suspected in a recent homicide. His escape raises significant concerns. Number 4. Leo Tate, 31. Charged with domestic abuse and battery. His history of violence makes him a high-risk fugitive. Number 5. Jermaine Donald, 25. Facing charges of carjacking and armed robbery. Known to be armed and dangerous. Number 6. Corey Boyd, 30. Charged with multiple counts of assault and battery. His escape poses a significant threat to the community. Number 7. Gary Price, 27. Facing charges of burglary and resisting arrest. Considered a flight risk with a history of evading law enforcement. Number 8. Robert Moody, 33. Charged with armed robbery and possession of illegal firearms. His criminal background is extensive. Number 9. Kenan Dennis, 24. Facing charges of aggravated assault and attempted murder. known for his aggressive behavior. Number 10. Kendall Miles, 29. Charged with multiple counts of armed robbery. He was recaptured shortly after the escape. As of now, 5 of the fugitives have since been recaptured, leaving 5 others, including 3 charged with murder, still on the run as of Thursday afternoon. The Orleans Criminal Sheriff's Office emphasized the severity of the situation. These are not low-level offenders. These are people facing serious charges. The public is urged to remain vigilant and report any information that may lead to the capture of these fugitives. When 10 inmates vanish from a high-security jail and no one notices for over 7 hours, it triggers a storm. But what came next only deepened the public's fear. Within 24 hours of the escape, the FBI officially joined the manhunt. The U.S. Marshals Service ramped up their resources, deploying agents to multiple parishes in Louisiana and even into neighboring states. The reward for information doubled, from $2,500 to $5,000 for each fugitive. Helicopters hovered over rural backroads. Drones scanned drainage ditches. Tip lines buzzed nonstop, but the leads were few and cold. And then came the shock from inside the jail itself. For deputies, suspended, accused of neglecting rounds, falsifying logs, and possibly aiding the escape.
We observed on the video later this morning. We had to pull that video.
You said you observed at 1 a.m.
So let's be clear. I said what we observed on the video through investigation.
Failure at multiple levels. Public trust took a hit. Parents started pulling their kids from night shifts. Businesses near the jail installed new locks. One woman living just blocks away said, "I haven't slept in 2 days. I don't know who's out there." The story went national. News trucks lined up outside the jail. Headlines screamed, "Jailbreak in New Orleans," and late-night hosts turned the escape into punchlines. But for the people of New Orleans, this wasn't funny. It was terrifying. The sheriff's office promised sweeping reforms. More cameras, better plumbing inspections, tighter staff oversight. But all the promises in the world couldn't undo the simple fact. 9 men are still out there, and no one knows where they are. Which leads us to one haunting question. What if they're all never caught? What if this wasn't just a one-time breach, but a test run? Because these men didn't just escape prison. They walked through the cracks of a broken system. And if they're not all caught, this won't be the last time.